Hi there! This is my review of the Donner DC-20 condenser microphone. Unlike most inexpensive mics, which are almost always USB, this inexpensive mic has an XLR connector, which therefore must be connected to an interface. I mention this at the top of this review because I've seen people get upset in their comments concerning the manufacturer or even Amazon when they received exactly what the description says it is, an XLR microphone. It's rather the customer who should have done a bit more homework before ordering the product. This is not a USB microphone that you can simply plug into your computer and off you go. If you're looking for a plug-and-play in an okay and fairly versatile microphone, the Blue Yeti is probably the mic you want, especially because it's got a built-in headphone jack, extremely low latency, multiple pickup patterns, and adjustable gain. It also comes with its own built-in stand. But even at that, if you don't want to deal with the inherent noises that come from accidentally bumping the desk or table upon which the microphone sits, then you're also going to have to purchase a shock mount as well as a boom arm. The thing to understand is that almost nothing in the media creation world is going to be as simple and as cheap as you think it's going to be. Anyway, back to the central product, the Donner DC-20, this inexpensive XLR microphone. Now, I'm not going to pretend to know why XLR mics sound better than USB mics, even though both of them end up connecting to the computer via USB cable. It's a simple fact that they just do sound better. I'm guessing it's the construction of the mic, or maybe it's the 48-volt phantom power. I mean, why wouldn't a ghost make your mic sound better, I'm currently using what is probably the most popular interface for many folks involved in the voiceover business, as well as many music enthusiasts on a budget. The Focusrite Scarlett Solo. And there are several versions of this interface, some with at least 2 XLR cable ports, the likes of which I wish I had for the following demonstrations, but I don't, so I'll have to make do with what I've got. Therefore, I will have to record the audio demonstrations separately, but I will make sure that my input levels are very similar, and I will normalize them all to -3 dB, so that what you hear will be, for the most part, a fairly accurate comparison. But first, let's take a look at what comes in the box containing the Donner DC-20 microphone. Microphone! No shocker there, but speaking of shocker, especially for the price, a shock mount, and a pop screen, and a low-profile mini tripod, and a tripod adapter, as well as a nice long XLR cable, 3 meters or 9 feet 8 inches long. And if that weren't enough, a zippered carrying case. That's a lot of stuff for $49, even if it were a USB mic. Now let's take a look at the builds. The mic. It's nice and weighty, not cheap feeling at all, and has a good look to it. Not that that really matters in the long run, but still it's a good design. In fact, it's almost identical in appearance to the Heil Sound PR40 microphone, a mic found in the top 10 broadcast microphones on many lists, which costs $349 new. Tripod, adapter, and pop screen are all constructed of metal. Shock mount construction. Is it plastic or metal? I'm not sure. I'm tapping it to see if it sounds like aluminum or plastic. I think it's plastic. If I'm incorrect, I do apologize to the maker and seller. However, it does actually feel rather sturdy for whatever the materials are. XLR cable, which again is almost 10 feet or 3 meters long. And all of it is packaged rather nicely. This is just crazy for $49, unless it sounds like crap, of course. So, how does it sound? Whatever any of the specs say, for regular folks like me who don't really know what much of that even means, I just want to know what it sounds like once you record through it, and that it's not collecting a bunch of unnecessary noise in the room, even from itself, in a very quiet room. Here's an illustration of what the spoken word sounds like between my Rode NT1A, the Donner DC-20, and my old Blue Yeti mic. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. From what I can hear, the Rode NT1A has a deeper, warmer sound than the DC-20, which doesn't appear to have very much low end at all. The Blue Yeti doesn't seem to have very much high end or low end. It's basically a mid-range mic. Yet it doesn't actually sound bad either, but I wouldn't want to use it for professional purposes such as voiceover, and certainly not for recording vocals for a musical piece that's actually going public. Then again, if you're doing some kind of experimental music, it might not really matter what mic you use. The apparent lack of low end in the DC-20 isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially for general vocals and music, where you end up adding EQ to reduce or remove virtually all low end anyhow for the mix. Unless you're going to do the up-close and personal sort of vocals like Leonard Cohen or Barry White or Johnny Cash. Speaking of vocals for music, let's listen to some vocals tracks. Forgive me for doing the same phrase over and over for each vocals track, but it's the only way to get the closest to a recorded at the same time sort of review, the likes of which I am unable to accomplish because, as I said before, I have only one XLR port in my current interface. In a white room with black curtains near the station. In a white room with black curtains near the station. In a white room with black curtains near the station. In a white room with black curtains near the station. In a white room with black curtains near the station. In a white room with black curtains near the station. I don't think that the Donner DC-20 sounds bad at all, really. It sounds rather clean and gets you plenty of high end and virtually none of the low end. So with this kind of singing, there's little to no need to worry about the low end muddying up the mix. My conclusion then is that perhaps for voiceover and for intimate sounding vocals, the Rode NT1A is the better of these three because of the greater range and frequency, and it's got super low self-noise. The Donner DC-20 would be ideal for podcasts and even for singing vocals in some contexts. The Blue Yeti might be good for podcasts as well. So for an XLR mic that's more than half the price of the Blue Yeti USB mic, the Donner DC-20 is remarkably decent. If you're looking for a good sounding starter mic, I think you'd be doing fine with the Donner DC-20, especially since, at least currently, it's under $50. Well, that's what I've got for now. Cheers!